When we last left our heroes, they were sleeping. But then, by the power of respawn, they all ended up in city with slings, so they could throw rocks at random things. They wandered around the king's castle, looking for something important. They only found one moron. They continued to search the castle, looking for a door that they couldn't see. They found a corridor. As they looked around, looking for a specific item, they looked and looked and looked, but they could not find anything. They all threw rocks at the wall because they were angry because they couldn't find anything here. So they left. I checked this hole and nothing was in there, so they left. And Mitch threw a rock because he was angry. They continued to wander the castle grounds looking for a door. And then they decided, fuck it, we're just gonna go walk around the city. Of course, it wasn't like a city, it looked more like a town. Because I only see 6 houses where people live, and then the rest are shops and restaurants and a graveyard. Why in the hell does a city only have 6 houses and like 10 people who live in it? There's a monster in the dungeon. And then they went into another place, another corridor. And then they found a secret passageway, and Jack picked up the +1 axe. Would Jack use this axe? Not now, because it was an axe, and as you all know, fighters are way more proficient with swords than axes. They continued to walk, and walk, and walk. And these are the 6 houses I was talking about. Now they went into a guard tower, and continued to walk. And they threw rocks at it, at the wall, just so they would remember where they came from, so they wouldn't get lost like last time. And then they tried to throw rocks through the hatch, trying to hit the guy on the roof, but missed completely. And he looked at them and said, "I will sue your ass." So they continued to walk and talked. And then Rick realized again that they were dinosaurs in the swamps. But Rick wanted to talk to other people. The beastmen bear ancient markings? Are they demons from the 4th plane? Of hell? Who really knows the story of the beastmen? Maybe they're half beast, half men. No, that's just too improbable. Maybe they're men covered in swamp fur. Swamp stuff. In marsh and stuff. That sounds like it. It's just like Bigfoot. Now, as you see, they are avoiding the graveyard because every time they go to the graveyard, it freezes and they are not allowed to move. It's like the spirits freeze them to death. So they walk to the guy selling armor, and they're like, "Wait, we are wearing leather armor. We're not naked." And then they walk out of the armor shop and they go forward back to the king's castle once again. After looking at the golden lion statue and thinking, we should steal that eventually, because it'd be worth a shitload of money. And they go into a guard tower again and look around. They see a hatch, nothing though. Again, a single passage that goes nowhere. Just what they expected. Now time for this other passage. What goes here, I wonder? Ooh, dank dungeon. They go to the dungeon. They don't find anything. They're trying to throw this in. They throw this at the warrior. The warrior would kill them if they did. They all threw rocks at the warrior and killed him. With the rocks, they stoned him to death. Then they stoned the giant rat to death. They enter a large area due to use for questioning prisoners. Of course, did anything come of this? No. And they continue to wander throughout the entire dungeon, looking for something that might not existed. Oh! They ran through and found the gauntlets of ogre power. Bob did. Bob claims them because Bob needs them against the Beastman. Or does he? Bob just wants to screw everybody by getting the best items. Because that's what Bob does. And they continue to run through the dungeon looking for things, but they cannot see. And then they get lost in the dungeon for all eternity because they do not know their way out. But then Mitch had a giant plan. He was gonna run all the way down there and find a way out, and he did. He saved the party from starvation and death. Of course, how you can starve in a video game is beyond me. But then they all decided to look at their items, and then they decided to trade. Bob gave up his gauntlets of ogre power to Rick because Rick was the party leader and needed them most. And he would give the staff to Bob. And Bob was like, "You're trading me a staff?" And then he kicked Rick in the shin and Rick limped off, and then Bob tried to follow him, but Jack and Mitch stopped him. And then Rick came back and kicked them all in the foot. And then they all lived happily ever after. Wait. I'm sorry, I'm reading off the wrong script. So, Jack decided to apply his +1 axe. And everybody else looked at Jack. And they're like, "We're fighters supposed to carry swords." Jack goes like, "It's a +1 axe. It'll help." And everybody looks at Jack and says, "No, it won't. It's an axe." It's like, what is the difference between an axe and a sword? And he's like, and Bob's like, "You only can carry an axe with 2 hands. You won't be able to use the fucking sling." And Jack's like, "Yes, I will. This is a video game." They all continue to walk and look at their items to make sure that they have everything that they want on right now. Then they're happy and they walk forward past the fountain of sparkling water with sugar crystals. And then, after talking to the knight, they decide to go forward. They are hesitant to go forward because when they did last time, they were basically right by Beastman, but they weren't dead. They were sleeping. So they continue to walk forward, hiding behind bushes, waiting for the first battle to begin. Who would live and who would die the first battle? Who knows? But they thought it was a good idea to save their game beforehand in case one of them dies. Or 2 of them die. They were almost so bad that they saved it twice, but they saved themselves. And then they continue to walk forward up to a battle that